I know you've been a member for a while now, so I'm gonna kind of jump around to some questions I want to ask you specifically. So the first one is, you know, since you become a member, what is your favorite part about the vault or being a member of the vault?
For me, it's basically the diversity of everything that you can do as a baseball coach, as a baseball player. It's you can do these drills, with with 5 year old kids, and I actually work with a 74 year old guy in a men's league, and it's just got everything in between. It breaks it up into amazing group sections, how you handle different flaws from different hitters, how you work practice plans and programs, and it really diversifies it, for the individual. So for me, it's just the diversity of information. There's nothing in there that you can't apply to every aspect of baseball and softball.
That's really cool. Just on a side note, the 74-year-old, that's pretty cool. What have you noticed with him? Like, is there a drill or something, anything that you're like, oh man, this guy gets this?
Well, when he first came to me, we talked a lot about he had no legs in his swing. I mean, it was just all arms, and I was just trying to get him to use his legs better. And I remember telling him, I'm like, hey, listen, you just got to get a little more turn from the backside. And he was just like, Bob, if I turn any harder, I'm going to break my hip. I mean, it was kind of so what I did with him is I just kind of widened him out a little bit and just tried to get him just to get a little more of his core in his swing, and it actually works for him. I mean, the guy actually does really good. I mean, he's
That's
pretty
awesome.
amazing. Yeah, yeah,
That's really cool.
yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I did some lessons with a guy who came to me a couple, man, it had to have been 5 6 years ago. I should check in with him, but he was probably 50 years old and he was just playing co-ed softball for the first time, just trying to like get active, and kind of the same thing. Couldn't move very well, and throughout the year, like he really picked it up, and he's like, at the end of the year, he's like, I mean, I led my team in hitting in the slow pitch softball league and all that stuff, and he was super pumped. But I'm telling you, it was the very strange and different. Like again, a guy who had never really played before. I think he was around 50 years old at the time, and he was just like from scratch. Well, how do I do this? And it was very interesting.
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So, all right, my next question for you is: were there specific issues or things you wanted to learn that encouraged you to sign up for the vault?
As a coach, one of the things I pride myself in is we all teach our players to, be willing to make adjustments, to grow, to listen to different voices, find mentors who, have done it and do it better than you. And as a coach, I feel that's something that I, need to do too as well, to be able to, just be able to, to teach in today's world, and different languages and things like that. So I've searched around, and I've always looked for the good and the bad, and threw the bad in the garbage can, and the good always landed like kind of in your corner, with a couple other outfits that I've been fortunate enough to work with, like Big League Edge guys like over there, and the Pure Swing, those guys over there, and your stuff. And your stuff, for me, just again, like the diversity of it and how much information was there, and how it puts it in group buckets and individual buckets, and practice plans, and things for coaches individually, and every single kind of flaw for every single kind of age group. To me, was just something that attracted me to be able to want to be a member like every year.
That's cool. I appreciate that, and I'll tell you, I know you've been active in the group, and on social media a little bit too. So I always see your stuff. But I'll tell you, for me, the most life giving or fun thing is when I go to the coaches group and I see, hey, my daughter hit her first home run in her life, and I'm like, okay, it's for me. That's the fun. I mean, for the vault, and I guess for anything in life, it's like you just don't know how. Sometimes people work in silence. You never hear if they're doing good or not. So, kind of leads me to my next question for you is: are there any goals or specific achievements that have occurred after using the drills in the vault? Any stories or anything you can point to that said, "Hey, we did this drill," or this happened?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be able to stand behind quite a few baseball and softball players over the last few years, on their their letter of intent signing days. And I attribute so much of that to some of your drills. And the biggest one that I use, and when you talk about flaws and fixes and individual drills, for different things that hitters need, there's some absolute ones, and that stride separation drill for me is just the one that has kind of taken my coaching game to a next level, because you can use it with every kind of hitter, no matter what their movement process is. And I've learned to modify it based on how a hitter moves, and it's just it's the energy gathering process that just allows a hitter's athleticism to come out. The seesaw drill is another one. Just when I first started in coaching, it was more just all about legs. I hooked up with a guy named Torrey Tyson. He was in the New York Yankees coaching system, and he was all about the legs, the lower half. He did some stuff with Albert Pujols, and but not a whole lot of shoulders and hands, and it was just more preloading stuff. And then again, your vault, just really helped me understand how to get the shoulders activated and keep the hands connected. And then I start looking at swings of the greats, like Barry Bonds and Ted Williams and Big Papi, and how these guys use their upper body and lower body kind of together and against each other in the process. And their results are there. So the results that I have is just my latest one is I have a one of my softball players who just signed her letter of intent to play at Fordham University, and I've been working with her for 5 or 6 years now. And she always had a good swing foundation, but she really excelled when we started doing drills that I use from your vault.
That's cool. Yeah, as I said, and I know that's why you coach. It's fun. It's fun to get to see your athletes have success. My next question for you is: are there any, or would you, or have you recommended the vault to any other parents, coaches, or players?
Yes, I mean I have quite a few coaches I know that are actually members of the vault. We have conversations all the time about which drills they use, and pretty much the majority of my players. I have to go through parents when they're younger and tell them, and I've sent them some of your stuff. I've kind of pirated some of the drills and sent them to them and say, hey, look, this is where you need to go with this. And some of them I know have signed up. So absolutely, I recommend you all the time. I use you as one of my mentors in most conversations I have when people ask me where I learned to teach hitting.
That's awesome. I appreciate that very much. All right, my last question for you is, a lot of people are on the fence about signing up for online hitting instruction in general. You get to the thing like, oh, this might look good. Is there any words of advice you would give to people who might be on the fence to buy in the vault?
Is don't be afraid to do it. I mean, it's you can, like anything in life, you can. First, there's enough information that you have out there to where people can see, hey, this resonates with me. We know that's people see things, and when it resonates with them, they start the buy-in process. So, I tell them, you have nothing to lose by it. You go in there. There's nothing in here that you can see that is going to actually hurt your kid. If you don't like one of the 100 drills in there, you just don't use it. To be able to go in there and to be able to grow and to learn and understand, there's really nothing in there that's not covered in every aspect of the game.
That's cool. Again, Bob, I appreciate you sitting down with me and answering the questions. And you did a good job. Your lighting looks good. Everything looks good back there. You look good. So I appreciate you sitting down with me. I got a couple other guys I'm going to do this morning as well. But I really do appreciate it very much. Again, I think for me with the vault, and I've been wanting to sit down for over a year now with some coaches, because I think for me, I can sell the balls all day long in my stupid face, but I think when there's actual coaches that are doing a good job out there that can say, hey, I use this thing and I think it's helpful. I think to me, I've always thought that would be more helpful than just me on the screen all the time trying to sell something. So, because I think we have something special with the coaches group and everything else, and I think I'm really happy with the way that's been growing. And I'll jump into the coaches group sometimes. I'm about to answer a question, and I see like 5 other guys already answered it for me. I'm like, all right, I know that we're starting to get somewhere when other coaches can chime in and speak for me, and I don't even have to chime in. It's kind of cool to see that from coaches like you. So I appreciate that.
Well, I will tell you this. I wanted to make sure I get this out there, and you can use this as a snippet to coaches. What connects it for me with you is when you have your posts, everything about just you're loving your students. I mean, like your own. I mean, when you can connect with your students, almost like a parent, it just brings it out in them when they're not going to trust your instruction if they don't trust you as a person first. And when you show
Yep.
them that love, their athleticism comes out. And so, coaches, there's a lot of coaches who do it for the wrong reason, and
Yeah.
you do it for the right one. So.
I appreciate that. I just think that's, it's probably as you know, like, it just makes coaching so much better when you actually care about the person. It's not just kind of running them through the lesson. When you actually have a relationship with them, you can feel like you're actually making an impact on them outside of just, shuffling them through lessons or a practice, something like that. I don't know. I guess I know you've been doing it a long time too. It's just like, you've been doing it a long time. You realize like what's really important, and it's fun to win, and it's fun to have them sign on. Like those are great things. But when they're actually, they get to know you a little bit too, and you get to know them a little bit. It just makes a little bit more life giving than just kind of running them through it.
It's life
And
lessons
I know
for sure.
you know that.
Yep, good stuff.
So, all right, Bob.